Why are so many Tunisians joining ISIS and going off to fight in Syria and Iraq?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, of course, we often hear the figure of 3,000 Tunisians in ISIS, but also there are thousands of French nationals, of Europeans, among them many French nationals in ISIS. There are also Moroccans, Saudis, etc. But I agree. I mean, the numbers from Tunisia are quite high compared to the number of the population. And you would say that Tunisia, as a democracy, would have its citizens united and building it together. But that's not how things work, especially when you have the legacy of Ben Ali. And the generation we see now was not born in 2011 when the Arab Spring started. It's a generation that grew up and studied and witnessed and lived the repression and the annihilation of any form of critical thinking, of any form of maybe cultural investments, of cultural, the years of Ben Ali really destroyed the national identity of Tunisia, and this is what we're seeing today. Those who grew up under Ben Ali are now the ones who are aged maybe 20 years old, 22 years old, and they lived all that. So some of them, and there are many young Tunisians who are in Tunisia who are trying to work hard and to build the new Tunisia. We've seen a burgeoning civil society since 2011,
many who are nostalgic for the Ben Ali era because of those reasons.
Exactly, and this is leading us to the other problem that Tunisia is facing. So Tunisia is facing the issue of terrorism and the radicalization of a big number of its young people, but also Tunisia is facing the other issue, which is the return of authoritarianism. And that's, of course, you have people who are now scared, who see the economic situation going down, who see all the problems around, and what they do is to idealize the past. And we've seen that in all the transitions. In many people today long for Stalin in Russia, and that's why they recreated someone like Putin. And so in Tunisia, yes, we have people longing for the former era because they see it as an idealized past. They forget all the bad things. They forget the repression of the police. They forget that during Ben Ali they were not even allowed to think that before was better. Now they can do that, and they are allowed and they are free to do that. But also there are also a lot of people who belong to the Ancien Regime who are actually, just like ISIS is taking the vacuum and to brainwash people and tell them that the alternative is ISIS. We have the advocates of the Ancien Regime, the advocates of dictatorship, of authoritarianism, who are telling the people who are feeling in distress that the alternative is the Ancien Regime. So terrorism and authoritarianism are the two main enemies of Tunisia, and it's for us, the ones who are in between, to fight these two spectrum and these two aspects, and to build Tunisia again.